So I think Barbie's going to do much better at the Oscars than I originally thought. Hi, I'm Brian Rowe, this is the Awards Contender, and in today's video I'm giving you my updated Oscar predictions for Barbie and Oppenheimer. So I gave my initial predictions in a video I posted on July 9th, sight unseen. I of course had not seen either film at the beginning of July, but I felt like based on the Oscar history of Christopher Nolan's work and Greta Gerwig's work, and based on the trailers too, I felt like I could give a reasonable assessment, and I do agree with most of the predictions I made. Like, I'm not changing much. I am mostly adding on to the predictions I already talked about. The main thing at the beginning of July was I just did not believe a film called Barbie, a summer comedy release called Barbie, no matter how great of a movie it was, I just didn't think that could get into like Best Actress, Best Director, Best Picture. I felt like Barbie, based on all the trailers, was probably going to get into just technical categories. But oh my god, did that movie just bowl me over. What a great piece of art Barbie is. And then I also didn't expect it to do as incredibly well at the box office that it has ended up doing. Like, Barbie is going to be one of the biggest blockbusters of the year, critically acclaimed, people love this movie, and with the SAG and writer strikes, I feel like some movies are going to be pushed away from 2023 and will eventually premiere in 2024. There are going to be some films that were going to be big Oscar players come the spring that probably won't come out this year, which opens up the field a little bit for both Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I do think, after having seen the film, seeing its popularity, how well it's done with audiences, with critics, at the box office, I do think Barbie is going to do better at the Oscars next year than I originally thought. So I originally predicted 4 Oscar nominations for Barbie: costume design, makeup and hairstyling, original song, and production design. Those stay, of course. I actually think costume design and production design might win the whole thing. Like, I think if Barbie wins a couple prizes at the Academy Awards next year, I think costume design and production design are looking pretty good. Now, do I predict Barbie gets into any other technical categories? Like, I guess you could say that cinematography and film editing are on the table, but I'm not feeling those right now. I do think other movies will come in the fall that get into editing and cinematography over Barbie. So right now I'm keeping those 4 technical nominations the same, but is Barbie going to do better than 4? Yes. I think it is an absolute certainty that Barbie will get into adapted screenplay for Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. I've read up that there's talk it might go into original screenplay, which really baffles me. Like, I know it's kind of its own original thing, but it is based on IP. It's based on existing characters. So I feel like that should be adapted. Like, if Before Sunset is adapted, if Whiplash is adapted, then Barbie is adapted. That makes sense to me. I mean, it does get into the weeds a little bit when you have films based on real people, but not specifically like a book. Those films can get into original screenplay. So, I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest shocker in the world if Barbie ended up in original screenplay, but right now I think it's adapted screenplay. Look, it's really hard for comedic performances to get in at the Oscars, but now having seen the movie, I do think Ryan Gosling will make the top 5 for Best Supporting Actor. It is just such a funny, daring performance. He takes that character into places you do not expect, and he's just having a ball while doing it. And I think it helps that Ryan Gosling is already an Oscar-nominated actor. He's proven his stuff over 20 plus years, and he has those 2 Oscar nominations behind him. And I think if Barbie can get into one acting category, it is Ryan Gosling for Best Supporting Actor. I am going to predict that happens, which would be such a cool Oscar nomination, one of the best, I think, in the acting categories in recent years. Does Margot Robbie make it into Best Actress? I would love to see it. I think that would be fantastic. I'm not feeling it right now. I feel like Margot Robbie might come in like 7th or 8th place and get close. If enough movies are pushed out of 2023 and the field is not super competitive, then I do think she can get in. Right now, I am not going to predict that Margot Robbie gets into Best Actress, but I would love to see it happen. That would be very cool. I thought she deserved a nomination for Babylon. This would, in a way, kind of make up for that, for a movie, Barbie, that she produced, that she obviously played a big hand in getting made, and she's so great in the movie, but I'm not quite there yet. Ask me again in like November, December. Let's see how things are playing out by then. I don't think Greta Gerwig gets into Best Director for this. I think her nomination will be in the screenplay category. Although a Best Director nomination for Gerwig would be awesome. The director's nomination branch, I don't think the directors are going to go for her work in this movie. I think they'd rather go with like an international director or something. I don't think that that's going to happen. But yes, I do think Barbie gets in for Best Picture. With 10 nominees, oh yeah, that's happening now. I know I'm going against what I talked about a few weeks ago, so do with that what you will, but now having seen the film, seeing how popular it is, I do think Barbie gets into the Best Picture category. I don't think director happens. I'm not feeling actress for Robbie right now. We will see. But I do think the film gets into Best Picture. Is there anything else? I would say the only other spoiler would be America Ferrera for Best Supporting Actress. That one monologue she gives is amazing, but outside of that scene, I don't think there's going to be enough enthusiasm for her performance to get into the Best Supporting Actress category. Maybe she'll show up at the Golden Globes or at Critics' Choice or something and give her that push that she needs. But right now, I think the best chance at an acting nomination for Barbie is Ryan Gosling. So, my updated Oscar predictions for Barbie at the end of July are as follows. I think it gets into 7 categories, not 4. I'm going with Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Ryan Gosling, Best Adapted Screenplay for Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Original Song, and Best Production Design. Okay, and then Oppenheimer, which is also just doing extraordinarily well. People love this movie, and for good reason. It is a masterpiece, one of Christopher Nolan's very best films, and now that it's done really well at the box office too, and there is that potential for some of the awards-friendly films of the end of 2023 to be pushed into 2024, I'm thinking Oppenheimer is going to do even better than I originally predicted earlier this month. So in my July 9th video, I said that Oppenheimer was going to receive 10 Oscar nominations: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, Best Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Film Editing, Original Score, Production Design, Sound, and Visual Effects. So I'm going to keep all 10 of those nominations as my predictions still to this day, except I will take out visual effects. I don't think visual effects will show up for Oppenheimer. It just didn't seem like there was enough in the movie. There are some really cool images here and there, and I don't think it's off the table necessarily, but from what I've read and what I've heard, it's like, I just don't think visual effects will happen for Oppenheimer. That would be a surprise based on how little we get in the film, and there is not one touch of CGI in Oppenheimer, so I'm not really feeling that category anymore. But the other 9 predicted categories stay, and I'm going to add 2 more. I do think this is definitely going to get into Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr. I didn't know much about his character based on what I had read about the film before I saw it, based on the trailers. He wasn't really in the trailers very much. We'd get like a quick glimpse of him. I wasn't even sure how big of a role he had. I thought maybe he just had a one-scene role or something. I didn't realize how much of the film he's in, how important his character is, and how many great moments we get with Downey Jr., especially at the end. When he goes off at the end, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is happening for him. It's such a different kind of Downey Jr. performance we really haven't seen before. This is not Tony Stark. This is a much different kind of persona that he doesn't normally play. And now that I've seen the film, I think he could potentially win next year for this performance. I think Oppenheimer is going to do well in the number of wins. I don't know if Cillian Murphy can win Best Actor, but I do think Robert Downey Jr. could potentially win Best Supporting Actor. He is definitely getting nominated, so I'm going to add that to my predictions list. And then the other one I am going to predict, because the film is so successful and because she is such a great actress and has never received an Oscar nomination before. I think she is going to get swept up in the Oppenheimer firestorm. I do think Emily Blunt is going to get her first Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress, even though I felt like her character was underwritten and maybe for me was the biggest flaw of the whole movie. I wanted more of that character. I wanted more scenes with Emily Blunt, more exchanges between her and her husband. I felt like that was an area of the movie that could have been more explored, but taking into account the scenes she does appear in, she does great work. That scene toward the end of the movie in the interrogation room is a banger. She is so great in that moment, and I like her in bits and pieces throughout the movie here and there, but that interrogation scene, I think, is going to be enough to get her into Best Supporting Actress. I don't think Emily Blunt could ever win for that performance, but Jamie Lee Curtis won for Everything Everywhere All at Once, so you never know. Outside of that category just being extremely competitive in the next 6 months, and there being 10 great supporting performances that could vie for 5 slots, outside of that happening, if it's not overly competitive, I do think after so many years of great performances and always being snubbed every single time, Emily Blunt deserves to be an Oscar-nominated actress. I do think she's going to make it in for Oppenheimer. So, my updated Oscar predictions for Oppenheimer here at the end of July, now that I've actually seen the movie, are that it receives 11 Oscar nominations total, and they are Best Picture, Best Director for Christopher Nolan, Best Actor for Cillian Murphy, Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr., Best Supporting Actress for Emily Blunt, Best Adapted Screenplay, Cinematography, Film Editing, Original Score, Production Design, and Sound. And speaking of sound, I think Oppenheimer has that one in the bag. What an extraordinary use of sound in that movie. I think we can already call Oppenheimer an Oscar-winning movie because it's definitely winning Best Sound. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what Oscar nominations do you think Oppenheimer and Barbie are going to receive in 2024? Has your mind changed at all since you've actually seen the films? Do you think they're both going to get nominated for Best Picture? Do you think they both get into the acting categories? We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.